And now a passage from the good book. You know, that one.
50 Shades.
The death of Lazarus.
Hashtag 50 Shades.
Now a man named Lazarus was sick. He was from Bethany, the village of Mary and her sister Martha. This Mary, whose brother Lazarus now lay sick, was the same one who poured perfume on the Lord and wiped his feet with her hair.
What a weirdo. Go on.
So the sisters sent word to Jesus, Lord, the one you love is sick.
Yeah, obviously, he's a freaking creep.
When he heard this, Jesus said, this sickness will not end in death. No, it is for God's glory, so that God's Son may be glorified through it. Whatever the that means.
Yeah, I have no idea.
Jesus loved Martha and her sister and Lazarus. Yet when he heard that Lazarus was sick, he stayed where he was 2 more days. Then he said to his disciples, let us go back to Judea, for he is probably bullshit. But Rabbi, they said, a short while ago the Jews tried to stone you, and yet you are going back there? Jesus answered, are there not 12 hours of daylight? A man who walks by day will not stumble, for he sees by this world's light.
He really wants to get stoned.
Yes. It is when he walks by night that he stumbles, for he has no high, too high. After he had said this, he went on to tell them, our friend Lazarus has fallen asleep, but I am going there to wake him up. Because he is past curfew. His disciples replied, Lord, if he sleeps, he will get better. Jesus had been speaking of his death, but his disciples thought he meant natural sleep. What dummies.
What dummies.
So then he told them plainly, Lazarus is dead, and for your sake I am glad I was not there, so that you may believe, but let us go to him. Then Thomas, called Didymus said to the rest of the disciples, let us also go, that we may all die with him. Jesus comforts the sisters. On his arrival, Jesus found that Lazarus had already been in the tomb for 4 days.
This is a long story.
Bethany was less than 2 miles from Jerusalem, and many Jews had come to Martha and Mary to comfort them in the loss of their brother. When Martha heard that Jesus was coming, she went out to meet him, but Mary stayed at home, because she was tired.
Stay at home, divine
Lord,
power.
Martha said to Jesus, if you had been there, my brother would not have died, but I know that even now God will give you whatever you ask. Jesus said to her, your brother will rise again. Martha answered, I know that he will rise again in the resurrection at the last day. Jesus said to her, I am the resurrection and the life. He who believes in me will live, even though he dies, and whoever lives and believes in me will never die. Do you believe this? Yes, Lord. I believe that you are full of shit. The Son of God who is to come into the world. Blah, 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 Jesus wept. And I'm bored.
Welcome back to another episode of The Good, The Bad,
and the bloody. Oh, you were waiting for it.
You know I gotta do that every time.
I'm Derek Brown.
I'm Cody Bowden.
And we're going to talk about the second 2015 horror film of the year.
Why did I think you were gonna say The Second Coming? All this biblical shit's getting me crazy.
Well, it's just hell in a handbasket for you.
It's making me hell in a manger.
Whoa.
Danger in the manger. If I were to make a WWE wrestling tournament based on religion, it'd be Danger in the Manger. That sounds so cool. I don't know.
Don't call it a comeback. I've been here for years. I'm rocking these jeans because I'm Jesus. Jesus was way cool.
Oh, who would win in a fight? JC or JC? Jesus Christ versus John Cena.
Ooh. That's tough, but...
The Danger in the Manger, my money's on John Cena. I'm sorry, Christ, but that guy's pretty ripped. You can't see him.
but even Jesus would be like, fucking Jesus Christ.
Like, this guy took down Undertaker? Holy shit, I've been fighting that guy for years.
Oh, the grave man.
Exactly. How many times is I mean, come on. Think about it. Undertaker slipped through Jesus' hands like 50 times, man. He keeps coming back to life. John Cena put him down for good. I think John Cena's better than Jesus.
No, maybe they're like rock, paper, scissors. That Cena beats Undertaker. Yeah. Undertaker beats Jesus. Jesus beats Cena.
If anyone like Hardcore South listens to this, they're going to be like, oh man, yeah, John Cena is better than Jesus. Oh, sweet Messiah Malazzi start changing their crosses to like hats. Because,
don't they already?
Hats and wristbands.
And they all wave their hands in front of their face. Like, you can't see me. And we sit there and clearly say, yes, we do.
Oh, goodness. Anyway, welcome back to the show. We're going to review The Lazarus Effect.
Which technically comes out tomorrow, but by the time we get this uploaded and edited, not in that order. So it'll be the same day. Yeah, we watched the showings that were before the midnight premiere. There was an 8 p.m. and a 10 p.m. I saw both. Because you're a turd.
I know. I'm terrible.
Even though you talked me out of going to the 8.
I know, but to be fair, a lot of our friends did come for the 10 p.m. showing. Which, by the way, I want to thank our fans that did show up to watch the movie with us. It was really nice of you guys to see you. You know.
And we know we have fans, because just today Cody made a Facebook page, and we have 30 likes.
Yeah. To be fair, though, I've been harassing people.
Hey, you click like on this page, or Snickers is going to get it.
They can't see that. Snickers, I'm not going to kill a dog.
Why? They killed a bunch of dogs in this movie, I assume.
Well, they already did. But yeah, we have a Facebook page now, so be sure to check that out. We're going to post a bunch of stuff there, not just episodes, obviously links to the new ones. But I plan on putting, maybe behind-the-scenes stuff. I think that'd be cool. We can do some actual video footage of us doing stuff. We have sketch ideas that we come up with doing this show. I mean, we talk a little bit before we start recording, and some of the stuff doesn't make it on here. Maybe we'll put some of that stuff in here, because we've got some good ideas.
It's too funny to put in an hour.
Exactly, but too inappropriate to put into a review. Yeah. So we'll try to... Actually, you know what? I'm going to try to censor this episode, simply because it has religious topics. Such as our opening, where we read the passage of Lazarus from John. Derek, what have you been up to?
Working? You sick son of a bitch.
Me too. I can't say that I really did anything this week.
Here we were having a good time, and you remind me of work.
This is technically work. I have this as I have a job title. I'm co-host. That's what I'm on Facebook. My employment
co-host
says
from coast to coast.
Co-host from coast. No. My employment on Facebook. I have co-host down here for this show. Because let's face it, it is a show. You know, listeners or not, you know, we're gonna make it whether you like it or not.
Yeah. Whoa, we're halfway there.
Whoa. Living on a prayer. Whoa, please.
These boots are made for walking.
Walking's what I'll do. No, fuck you, dirtbag. Anyway, so, yeah, I don't know. I went shooting this week with my friend Dane. By the way, thanks to the people that participated in the last contest.
The last minute giveaway.
The last minute giveaway weekday, which I plan on doing more. Even if we don't have that big of a budget, you know, I'll be willing to pull some out of my pocket to give some prizes away, you know, give out some shout outs, stuff like that. This week's winner was Scott, who actually went with us to watch the movie in theaters. He'll also get a chance to come to our next podcast, in which we'll review the movie he suggested, which is The Reanimator.
Yes. He told us it's good. I'm going to take his word for it. Because he's always joking. So I assume he's honest.
Exactly. We mentioned dicks, and he kind of got like squirrely. He was like, oh no, there's no dicks in this. Don't know what that really means.
Thank God.
Fingers crossed that there aren't any penises in this. I can only handle so much, Derek.
So much dicks. So little time.
Okay, let's not say it like that. I can only handle so much dick, Derek. Please.
I'm at my threshold.
Oh, God. Anyway, the point is, we also had a worse comment that we decided from our last contest. Dane Zirkle, you will be receiving Frankenstein vs. the Mummy on DVD for having the worst comment suggestion in our post, which was Tom Cruise. That's all he said was Tom Cruise.
We asked for horror movie titles, and he puts Tom Cruise.
Don't even really know what that means.
I'm not even a big Tom Cruise fan, but why pick on the guy?
I know, I don't get it either. Well, anyway, I hope he likes this shitty movie.
Yeah, congratulations to Dane for earning the one movie so far we've hated.
Yeah, if anything, you're taking out our trash for us. So, just be sure to recycle the plastic and throw away the CD. Anyway, moving on. Lazarus Effect. I mean, the only movie... This is the first movie we've seen since The Woman in Black 2 that was in theaters.
Yeah.
You know? I have like a weird nostalgia feeling from this. Because all the movies we reviewed since then were older movies that were on DVD or on Netflix, simply because there's nothing coming out right now.
Heck no, it's a dead zone.
Exactly.
I remember when we went and saw The Woman in Black 2, this was the first trailer we saw was for this movie.
Yeah,
even before the Avengers.
Mm-hmm.
So
that's true.
I was like, oh, This looks interesting. When's this coming out? February? We'll be here in a month.
Oh, speaking of that, this is our 2-month anniversary, technically.
Yay. We can build this road together.
Nothing lasts forever. That was terrible.
Yes, it was.
I'll edit that out. Anyway.
But yeah, almost 2 months. I can't believe we're still doing this.
I know.
Whether we like it or not.
Whether we like it or not, and whether you like it or not. We're going to shove this in your face until you're sick of it. Until you're bloody, or you're bad, or you're good.
Yeah.
Maybe a little bit of both.
Well, if you're good, you don't get this.
Maybe good, bad, and bloody. Whether you like it or not. I want to take this moment to also address our super fans, apparently. We have people that are hardcore listeners. They listen to everything as soon as we post it, the whole thing. Like, I don't even do that. Let's be honest, I'm on the show, Derek, and I don't even listen to half this stuff. But we have a few people that want to be number one fans, but they got to prove themselves. So if you're listening right now...
I say gladiator fight.
Yeah, Bloodsport. If you've ever
Knives
seen
only.
You ever see that movie with Jean-Claude Van Damme?
Yes.
Yes, that. Times 10.
Yeah.
With a tiger.
So,
I'll get you the tiger.
The super fan I'm going to throw out there, John.
John Crane?
Yes.
Wait. So let's assume all of the people that have come out and told us that they're our number one fans. Of those people, who would you pick?
In a fight? To go fight in the gladiator fight?
I'll pick a super fan.
And this is not to win, this is just to see fight.
No, this is to win title of superfan. To the death.
Well, then I think your brother Cameron.
You pick my brother?
Yeah.
Okay. My gladiator that I would pick would be Kaylee Johnson.
And then whoever loses has to fight John.
Whoever loses gets to fight John. Not has to. I think that'd be pretty fun. I'd do that. I'd be like, wait, if I win, I get to beat up John. I'd do that anyway, though. I'm sorry, John. Anyway. But no, I pick Haley because she's crafty, you know? She's got crocheting skills, all that stuff, you know? She could probably throw a needle or something. What does my brother have? My brother's high. Your gladiator would just get stoned and die.
Hey, man. It's a wild card.
It's clutch.
It's clutch. It's a wild card. I believe in it.
No.
Guys who deal with that kind of stuff, man, they just have all sorts of self-defense mechanisms.
You meant to say self-destructive behavior.
Oh, yeah, that's it.
That too. That's what I was thinking of. Cameron, you self-destruct. He just starts smoking.
I was thinking of a red Christmas.
Oh my god. Anyway, gladiator fight aside, thank you for listening. And please continue to support the show. Also, I've noticed that usually we bullshit for a little bit, you know? Like we always do. But we're not really doing that. And there's a reason for that. Because I've had some people tell me, you know, they actually want to just listen to a review of the movie. Which is insane to me.
Who keeps telling you these lies?
My brother.
Oh, well.
It's really just my brother and like...
Then never mind. I take him out of the gladiator fight. John versus Kaylee.
All right. That'd be an interesting matchup. Wait, what? Okay.
He's an eel.
Okay, one weapon. I know this is off track. I don't care. This is so off topic. Well, fuck it. It's our show. So
fuck it. We'll do it live.
All right. You give John one weapon. It can't be a ranged weapon, like a bow or a gun. What is the weapon?
Does it have to be a conventional weapon?
It can be powered.
Okay. Well, since I did just buy FLCL a couple days ago, I say he has to use a bass guitar as a weapon.
Really?
Yes.
You give John an instrument.
Electric bass.
I give Kaylee a chainsaw and a pole.
Well, that's just not fair.
I know. I didn't say it was going to be fair. Well, okay.
No, fuck it. Still electric bass.
He still give John a bass. He can't even carry that. He can't swing that around.
His special attack is electric boogaloo.
Oh, fuck.
John.
He's just playing the Seinfeld thing, getting stabbed. Ah, shit.
Yeah, but Seinfeld lasted for 10 years.
I give him a DVD of Seinfeld.
That's his shield, a DVD of Seinfeld.
I picked practical. You picked impractical on all fronts. You picked John and a bass guitar.
Hell yeah.
That's so weird. If I were to have it...
If you watched FLCL, you'd know that a bass guitar is nothing to fuck with.
Well, if I wanted anyone to be a warrior anyway, I'd probably pick, like, my friend Henry, and I'd probably give him, like, a shotgun.
Well.
But, I mean, you know, all bets are off when you have a shotgun.
Yeah.
You kind of win everything.
Sawed off or not.
I mean, you got a problem over here, gone. You got a problem over there,
You know, speaking of which,
Yes.
Guns could have really come in handy in this movie.
I don't know, because she would have telepathed that they were going to shoot her.
This movie is like Lucy if it were a horror film.
Yeah. Well, let's talk about that.
All right, so the Lazarus Effect.
Yeah.
Opens up with a bunch of opening credits of organs and oozing and stuff like that.
Oh, but you forgot the cold opening on that.
Oh, the cold... Oh, yeah.
Yeah, there's this raw camera footage of a pig.
Of a pig trying to be resurrected.
Hooked up to their machine.
And they're like, oh, man, this is not going the way we wanted, of course.
Yeah, they're basically just electrocuting a pig while pumping his brain full of this thing they call the Lazarus serum.
Mm-hmm.
Which it looks like semen.
Yes.
It's semen.
Let's be blunt here.
Let's address that right now before anything. This is...
They're injecting people with sperm.
Really. It's like a weird, like, distilled milky white.
They're turning this pig into a submarine. He's just full of semen.
That's really gross.
Never gets old, though.
I'm not gonna... No comment. Continue.
And so they're just like, oh, man, this sucks. And the one guy's just like, hey, guys, I got one word. Luau.
Yeah, which is funny. I didn't even notice that until the second time watching it. Yeah, this movie just came out to you people, and I've seen it twice. That's how much money I have.
Bow before him and be envious.
I practically piss money away. Money.
He has no money right now.
I've got no money. Well, no, I just got my paycheck in via direct deposit.
Oh, yeah.
So when I looked at my account, I was like, oh god, I probably, because I had 96 cents on there earlier. I was like, I probably got to put some money in there just to pay for this movie, if anything. And I was like, oh, shit. Hundreds of dollars. I think I'm okay.
You're like, God, I'll pay for everyone outside of the theater.
Yeah, no, there was like no one there. It was so dead.
Oh, yeah. It's dead. Like no one wanted to watch this movie.
It was on a weekday. That's stupid. You know? If anything, open this shit out on a weekend.
That's what they do with Friday opening.
I don't get it, man.
You dingus.
Why even?
So,
anyway.
Then... After the opening credits of goo and gore, which is about the most gruesome thing you'll see in the whole movie.
Oh, but with the pig? Yeah, no, there's some... Well, that's true. There's really no violence. Or like bloodshed. But the pig, they managed to revive the pig in the opening for like a second.
Yeah, it goes...
But then it dies again, you know. And they're just like, we got to adjust the dosage. And I was like...
I remember my first heroin shoot-up.
Oh, God.
So... After the opening credits, we open up on the medical center where they work. This young girl, about mine or Cody's age, comes in to start videotaping the progress of these so-called scientists.
Yeah, she's walking... She's escorted in by one of the main character, I'd say.
Olivia Wilde.
Yeah, who is, in this movie, Zoe.
Yes.
So she's walking past. She's like, don't worry, guys. This lady's with me. And they're like, oh, okay, you hot women.
Yeah.
Honestly, I would have been like, can you be with me?
I can't be with you.
I can't be a security guard. I'd be so bad. I don't even know how I'm working retail right now, dude. Seriously.
I don't know what I'm doing half the time.
I'm the worst person ever.
And yet they tell me I do a good job.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, okay, whatever. So she comes in... And they kind of give her the lowdown on what they do by not exactly telling her, but they tell the camera.
Yeah.
Because fuck her, right?
Exactly.
And so they pull off this interview where Zoe and her fiance...
Yes, fiance...
Frank?
Yeah, his name is Frank. So, like, they're both working on this project together. And during this interview, they're, like, sitting down, they're, like, laughing because, you know, oh, we're camera shy, whatever. But then they actually start getting into it. And
like us in our first episode of this.
Exactly.
It was just... Anyway, I
don't think we were like that. I have to re-listen to it. But Frank, later on, after he gets more comfortable, explains to this documentarian woman that they, you know, brought in that the Lazarus serum was accidentally discovered by his fiancée Zoe. So then now they're both working on this to kind of like create... they want to make it so the doctors have a second chance to like help a patient out. Like, because, you know, sometimes they die and they don't come back. Mm-hmm. You know, you can't sometimes you can't revive them with a little defibrillator and whatnot. Or CPR.
It was originally supposed to be used on comatose patients.
Yeah.
Is what we hear later.
Yeah. So basically, they don't say they're playing God, but they're essentially saying bring someone back from the dead.
Yes.
You know.
And it's very interesting the dynamic they set up because the two, Zoe's a Catholic who believes in the afterlife, and Frank does not.
To be frank, he does not.
Yeah.
And then they also, during this little document opening, they also explain how the machine works, which they put a needle that injects this serum into the temporal lobe.
They put the sperm in the brain.
They basically shove it through that part of your head that doesn't have any bone in there.
Yeah, the temple.
And then they just shoot this shit all throughout your brain, starting from the center.
And then they
also shock you.
Defibrillate.
Yeah, they basically give it a whole bunch of wattage. You know,
because it needs the shock treatment to work.
I guess
some things need heat to be applied. They just go, shit. And working with them are Clay, played by Evan Peters, who was Quicksilver in the last X-Men film.
Oh, wow, yeah, he was. I recognize him from somewhere, I just didn't know where.
And then
Donald
Donnie Glover or Danny Glover.
Not Danny Glover.
Donnie Glover.
Donald
Glover.
Glover. Getting too old for this shit.
He looks too old for this shit.
Oh god! But Donald Glover from Community.
Yes,
that's where I recognize from.
And he plays Nico, the black man.
I thought you were gonna say Negro.
No,
he plays the Negro.
You horrible person.
That's racist.
I know. Why'd you say it?
Oh jeez! Now we're both in trouble with the FCC. Well, we're shutting this down. It's a good run, everybody.
Shit. So anyway, Nico.
Yes.
The black Russian man.
He's the techie.
Yes.
Yeah. So he's the guy that designed the machine. What is it called? Like a pulse array. It's something that like activates the Lazarus serum. It makes it move essentially.
Let's call it the EMP.
EMP.
The electromagnetic pulse. Because all science fiction films have those.
I swear, every time I hear someone say electric, I think of Boogaloo. I can't just be like, I'm like, how is it powered? It's electric. And I go, it's electric.
Don't you know? I'm Electro Boogaloo.
Oh my god. Moving on. So they film this, they talk about the process anyway. And then they just start getting into the nitty gritty. Nothing.
Yeah, they pull out this dog that's been dead for however long. Not long enough, because he's not decaying. And I know that's not long, because we watched Pet Sematary, and they started decaying right away.
Yeah. I was thinking about Pet Sematary when I was watching this. Simply because, the premise of this movies, they don't come back right. So I was like, wish Judd was here to tell him not to do this.
What you put down is not always what you rise back up.
Exactly. Oh well, so ignoring
their loss.
Yeah, without Judd's guidance.
They shoot this dog full of sperm heroin.
Yeah, and they have this lady film it because she's there for that purpose only. So
and nothing else.
Yeah, so Craig is monitoring the vitals of the dog.
Nico.
Nico is checking the machines.
Clear.
The fuck is that guy's name?
Frank.
Frank is applying the serum to the dog's head, and Zoe is flipping the switch, basically, that gives it all that shock.
Yeah.
So.
And you see her take off her jewelry so she doesn't get shocked.
Yeah,
because metal is conductive, ladies and gentlemen. I don't know if you know this.
And that is important later. But what I thought about was she still has her earrings in,
Oh, I didn't even notice.
Yeah. I noticed that.
I just noticed the one time she didn't take them off, and I went, "Oh, here."
Well, I think what happens is it touched it, but we'll talk about that.
Yes.
But anyway, so they shock this dog, and they're like, "Nothing happened. Let's increase the dosage a little bit." They just shock it again, and they go, "Oh, this is fucking nothing's happening." And then the camera lady, who is Eva,
yes,
or Ava, actually,
yes,
Ava, she otherwise I'm just gonna call her camera.
She goes, "Oh, his ear twitched."
Yeah.
What do you mean? He didn't move.
There's a damn road. No, but so his ear, and they're like, "Oh, just a muscle stimulation."
So then she's like, "I swear to God!" And then she gets closer, and all of a sudden,
yeah, the dog comes back to life.
It's alive.
No one said that. I wish they did, though.
They did, actually.
Well, that one guy did later.
Like, once it was alive and not kicking.
Yeah.
He was just like, it's alive.
What a creep. Anyway.
It's like, asshole.
So, this dog is alive, and they're like, oh my gosh, this is crazy, crazy. So, they pretty much, there's like a little tiny scene where they're like having some champagne and, you know, having a party, and then he just like, you know, Frank, the head scientist, pretty much tells everyone, don't say anything about this to anyone. Don't tell them what we did here today, Lewis.
What did we do here, Frank?
Oh, yeah. So, you know, don't talk to anyone about this. They're God now, you know.
Christ on his throne, no.
So,
whoever would tell about this.
So when they examined the dog, they noticed that the cataracts that the dog had, because that's why they put it down apparently earlier.
Because he was blind.
Yeah, so that's how they got the dead dog in the first place. They got it from like a vet or something. But the cataracts that were in the dog's eyes are completely gone. So they're just like, what the hell does this mean, right? And then Craig says, maybe we cured blindness too.
To which some people chuckled, and I just went,
Yeah, I was like, is that a joke? they did.
The worst joke ever.
Yeah. So then they decide to take the dog home with them, Zoe and Frank, just so they can kind of watch the dog, I suppose, and have sex. No, I'm just
and make the dog watch. Now that the cataract's gone.
They just had the dead dog before. This isn't the same, Zoe. I know what we'll do. We'll just bring it back to life.
That's it, boy. Now lean in.
Oh, God.
So, what they find out is after Zoe is shown to have these incredible nightmares, and by incredible I mean horrendous, nightmares of this burning apartment complex, the dog comes into the room and just stares her down, just menacingly.
Yeah. Yeah, it's really weird. The dog just like stands over her and watches her sleep and stares, just doesn't move. But that's a pretty important part of this movie, Zoe's nightmare, because it's the same nightmare every time since she was a kid. And it's like you said, the hallway, it's this apartment complex that's on fire.
Hands are reaching out from under this door at the end.
Yeah. As it zooms in on the door at the end of the hallway that's totally lit up, embering, because there's fire behind it. You see these 3 pairs of hands that are completely blackened from the fire, just scraping and reaching out from like below the door crack. It's pretty horrifying, like, you know, assuming this is an actual memory of hers, you know, and it is. But the dog, though, they start documenting what the dog is doing. And the first thing they notice when they take it home is that it doesn't want food or water, and it just doesn't do anything. It just kind of sits there.
A real morose motherfucker.
Yes. Melancholy. Melancholy sounds like a really sad dessert.
Yeah. Melancholy and the infinite sadness.
Or like I don't know, I always think of cauliflower.
I'd like some melancholy flour.
Boo-hoo.
With some blue cheese.
Oh, Derek, that's sad. That's making me bummed out.
This movie made me bummed out.
Can we call this The Good, the Bad, and the Bummed Out? Let's rename our show.
The Good, the Bummed, and the Out.
The Good, the Blue, and the Bummed.
I got all blue bummed. But they notice that the dog named Rocky, not Balboa, goes through these hormonal swings where he's either just stiff as a board or he gets very angry.
Yeah.
Like, Clay gets up and gets some food while he's looking at some stuff, and the dog's just going Cujo on his ass.
Yeah, so that's a funny scene. I like that. And I think this is right after they have it for the first day, huh? It is. So they're all talking about the... no. There's that little foreshadowing there before that. So after that one night where the dog's staring at, you know, Zoe, really creepy. Zoe's having the nightmares. That's all established. They're sitting around the conference table, all of the people, even Eva, the filmer of what's happening. She questions, you know, do you think he went to doggy heaven or something?
They're like,
yeah, Frank's like, don't be ridiculous.
Doggy heaven is about as real as human heaven.
Yeah, and then Zoe's...
non-existent.
And Zoe's like, I have a different opinion. I don't know what happens when we die, right? And then they have some bullshit discussion about DMT being released when you die, which is true, but come on. The way they presented that information in the movie made it seem like the writer for this movie saw that on BuzzFeed and was just like, oh, I gotta throw that in there. That's really cool.
Yeah.
But
he heard about it through the Joe Rogan Experience.
Yeah. It didn't need to be in this movie for the science fiction factor. Because they say that their serum's based off of DMT. But I'm just, the whole time
but
I was
then
just
they start throwing that word around like it means something.
Yeah, I was just like, I gotta get my hands on some DMT.
Yeah.
I gotta fucking trip balls, man.
I just want to kill myself.
Yeah. So, I don't know. That's just my opinion, but...
And, they...
So, yeah, and then they leave. They leave the dog there, and Craig is working late that night. And this is that scene you mentioned where he says it's alive, where he walks up to the dog.
He goes all Cujo on his ass, and then he leaves out of the room, comes back.
He doesn't go Cujo on him at all.
He's growling and stuff.
No, he doesn't growl at him.
Yeah.
He goes up to the cage, breathes smoke on him because he has an e-cigarette.
Mm-hmm. Like a fucking tool.
Yeah. So he's got this vapor, right? And he's just blowing smoke at the dog, and he goes, "It's alive!" And the dog's just staring at him. Doesn't do anything.
He's just like, you fucker.
And then he grabs an energy drink from the fridge and sits down at a computer in the laboratory to play World of Warcraft. And that's when you hear this huge explosion or something from the kitchen. And he goes over there, and the refrigerator doors are just slammed open. There's a cupboard that's wide open. Shit's everywhere. The dog cage is completely open. The dog is nowhere to be found.
He's and after, like, the fuck?
Yeah, exactly. But after walking around for a bit, it jumps out at him. Now it's growling and barking at him. It's scaring the shit out of him.
So then everybody shows up.
Yeah, it cuts immediately to him later on.
He's like, "I'm telling you, there's something wrong with that dog. You better put it down again."
Yeah, and then Zoe.
He didn't learn the first time.
And Zoe says, "At least you're being reasonable," jokingly, because he's saying to put the dog down, which to everyone else is a little extreme. But honestly, some spooky shit's happening with this dog.
And Eva points out that this one bag of potato chips was up on the top shelf, so. Erratic dog behavior aside, he should not have been able to touch it.
To be fair, though, I feel like a dog could jump up there.
Yeah.
All in one, loud crash, though? No, that's some psychic shit going on right there.
Spooky, scary dog.
Oh, yeah. By the way, there's a spooky, scary skeleton in this movie.
Ooh.
It appears twice. Once in the background during a normal scene, and another time it's, knocked over during this ending scene. But
they killed the spooky skeleton, Cody.
Yeah, when I saw it, I was like, oh god, so spooky. So this movie gets at least 2 spook points on top of it because it had a spooky skeleton. Just saying, dude. We should do that. We should give movies bonus points for having spooky skeletons.
And then minus for bullshit.
Not having spooky skeletons.
Yeah. The Thing was a perfect 10 out of 10, but it didn't have any spooky skeletons. So it's an 8 out of 10.
4 out of 10. No spooky skeletons. They just give every movie a 1.
There goes all our speculated credibility.
Spooky skeletons from Spookatron 6. 11 out of 10.
Oh my god. So, they do an MRI test on him, and they find out that it's got more neurological happenings going on in its head than should be going on.
It's pretty much, its brain is just super active right now. And apparently the Lazarus serum is still in the brain. It hasn't dissipated or anything.
Even though it should have been out of the system within a couple of hours.
Which I don't know what that means during this movie. They talk about that a lot, but what does that mean?
Like the dog should have dropped dead or something? I didn't really know either.
Yeah, that's what I think that what they were trying to convey with the fact that Lazarus serum is still there means that they didn't really bring him back to life, It's just the serum.
It's a battery.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what they were trying to explain with that. They were trying to make some kind of point with that because they bring it up a lot.
Yeah.
That it's still in the system. It's not gone,
What the fuck's up with this?
Exactly.
Maybe it's because you used a higher dosage, you idiots. I thought you were scientists.
So they all start freaking out, blah, 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 whatever. Dogs going crazy now.
Later, I think, is the next scene. Yeah. Frank talks to the head woman.
Oh, yeah. He's trying to get into the building. Just a normal day. Just normal studying, whatever, research.
And they're like, hey, Frank, you need to come this way. And he's like, oh, okay.
I got to talk to the dean. Whoa. So the dean of the school that he's being a scientist for apparently is... What does she really do? She removes the grant, right?
Yeah, she pulls the grant off of them and pulls all the rights they had to the experiment, because this was not the experiment they promised they were going to use the money for. They promised to use it on to be working on comatose patients, not bringing things back from the dead. You're playing God, Frank. And Frank's just like, there is no God.
He doesn't say that. But what she does say to him, really close, is you're playing God with those dead animals. And then he looks at her and goes, how did you know about the dead animals? Like, we haven't been releasing any of that information. And she goes, we get all access to, all files, including video footage. And he's like, what? That doesn't make any sense. Like, so who tipped you off? And it turns out it's a chemical company that has been either bought a wing of the school or something like that.
You never fucking see again after this initial scene.
Yeah. But it's kind of important because it's why they redo their experiment. So this company basically claims everything from the laboratory as theirs because they buy the company that initially gave them the grant. Mm-hmm. So because they know about this Lazarus serum now, mm-hmm. And you'll find out how they know about it later. But long story, they go in and they take all the data, everything, like all the chemicals. They wipe the lab clean, basically. So they're
scorched earth policy.
Yeah. So they're all sitting there just like, God damn, there's something we can do about this, And they're sitting around in, I believe, Frank and Zoe's house. I think so. Everyone's there. Even the film girl's still there, too, Eva is part of the crew now.
And Zoe's kind of blaming her for tipping off the people.
She thinks that she gave them video footage, even though she left all the footage in the lab, and now she doesn't have it.
Yeah.
So they have no evidence that they were the ones that created the Lazarus serum, This big wig company has it now. So Frank says, there's only one thing we can do.
Replicate it before they put it to use.
Yeah, we got to prove that we were the ones that did this experiment, just so they can't take it all
That
from
is an
us.
original thought.
Yes. So Zoe's like, how are we going to do that? Oh, wait, I have this, 5-gallon bag of Lazarus serum still.
just in case.
In my backpack for no reason.
For those romantic nights, I guess.
Yeah, it's just cum. It's this big bag of...
Chock full.
Anyway, cock full.
Damn it.
And then they go, oh, well, we need the lab. How are we going to get back in the lab? And then, fortunately enough,
Eva... pull in Ocean's 11.
Yeah, Eva has a security card still. They didn't take it from her.
We got a 12-hour window, and we know when the guard's going to take a shit. We know when he's going to smoke a cigarette.
Yeah, they say that.
We know all the shit.
And they're like, all right, gang, let's do this. I was like, what the fuck? I thought he was going to put on, sunglasses.
Oh, it would have been great. And so... they pop in there, and they pull out another dead dog, because they never seem to run out of dead pooches.
Yeah, so Zoe slips in... Well, not Zoe, but Eva slips in because she has got a card to get in the building. And then she opens up the unloading bay, just to let the other ones in. And this is when Frank confronts her. I remember, a lot of this stuff.
Yeah.
I've seen it twice.
Hey, you could get expelled for doing this, so we'd understand if you booked it. And she's just like, no.
And just, continues to hang out with them and... have a fun time.
At that point, I would have been like, all right, adios.
Yeah, seriously.
Fuck this.
So, but
I've seen too many scary movies, man.
Yeah, I'd have been like, all right, have fun.
I've broken into one too many buildings. I'm not going to do it again.
You don't need a camera person. Here's a tripod. See you later, Frank.
Yeah, fuck you guys.
Frank you later.
Or here's just a microphone. You guys make a podcast of
it. Make a podcast. It's alive. Can you see it?
Yeah.
But,
I know you can't see it, but we resurrected this dog.
Oh my god. We should just fool people. Oh, hey, it's my buddy Frankenstein. He's walking in the room right now. No, whatever.
Oh, hi, Mark.
Oh, hey, Mark. How was your sex life? Anyway. But like you said, they got a dog. They have another dog. They just have a whole wall full of dead dogs.
Which is weird.
Yeah. It's like a mortuary inside this lab.
Yeah. They revived this one, I think. No, they're about to. And...
everyone's in position, including Zoe, who is on the switch.
And she throws the switch and everything goes black.
Yeah, and there's a huge spark. And then you realize, oh shit, Zoe got electrocuted.
Because she forgot to take off her ring.
Yeah. So they're all stand over her, run over to her and go, oh my god, Zoe, no. What the fuck? What happened? Didn't expect this. And then Frank is trying as hard as he can to bring her back to life, hitting her with a defibrillator, giving her CPR.
Adrenaline shot.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
You know, so if Pulp Fiction's advice doesn't work, you're fucked.
Exactly, man. But, you know, she's dead as fuck. Everyone's kind of letting Frank mourn over her dead body. And that's when Frank just looks down and picks her up. Well, actually, he looks at her finger ring. Her ring finger, which has a huge like electrical burn on it.
Yeah.
And he realizes it was his engagement ring to her that must have touched something on the switch that caused her to die.
My love killed her.
Yeah, which is really symbolic because they mention a little bit that Frank focuses this project and not getting married to Zoe.
Yeah, they've been together for 3 years.
Yeah.
And they've only not married because work is more important.
Yeah. And this is kind of good symbolism with like, you know, my work killed my love, you know, because Zoe's literally dead because of this project that he cares so much about. Didn't even marry the damn girl. So he's like, I'm a monster. I need to fix this. Picks her up, puts her on the table, and that's when Nico goes, "What the hell are you doing, Frank? You know, what are you doing?" And everyone starts giving him like
what the fuck do you think I'm doing? I'm resurrecting my woman.
Yeah, and he's like,
and they're like, "This has gone too far, man. You can't resurrect a human."
Yeah, if they catch us chopping up body parts up in here, man, we're all going to jail.
Which is one of my beefs that I had with the film when they started going, "You can't do this with a human being." Motherfucker, what do you think all this shit was for?
Yeah, it was for humans later on. But
fucking idiots.
I mean, and also, well, I mean, maybe because it wasn't completely like verified because the dog was fucked up, and that's why Craig is the only one that had a good point during that argument because he says, you know, what if her brain gets all messed up like the dog's? Mm-hmm. Something could go wrong. She might not be herself.
Yeah, everybody else just simply said, "Well, it's different because it's a human being."
Yeah, they just don't want to go to jail. But Craig is like, "This is stupid. She might be a fucked up monster after this."
Yeah, and then Frank's just like, "Fuck it, I'm not gonna get any pussy."
But
otherwise,
realistically, I would be like, "No one's watching. We've already broken into this lab. We're not supposed to be here." I would just be like, "Hell yeah, let's play God."
Balls deep, man.
See what happens. I would be so curious.
You got to know when to hold them and know when to fold them
for science. So, eventually, after Frank mopes around a bit, they go, "Fine, we'll help you." Like, one by one, they each go up and take their positions again. And he goes, "Thank you," you know, whatever. So, they start hitting her with, like, huge doses. And then he looks at Nico at one point, and he's like, raises up to 113. He's like, 113? That'll fry the... Raise it up. And he's like, all right, okay.
It's like, fine, fucking white people.
And you know what's funny? There are a lot of phrases in this movie they say a lot. And one of them is fry. That'll fry this. It's been fried, you know. Mm-hmm. And it's... And
why don't you have some French fries?
And you know what was fried the most? Zoe.
Yes. Drugs are bad. Okay.
She got real fried.
Fucking... What really bothered me about her when she gets resurrected after all this?
Yeah.
She doesn't wake up like the dog did, or the person later did. Wait, at the end, she resurrects all silently. Yeah. Do you know, to be spooky?
Yeah.
Because we already did the jump scare with the dog. You got to do the silent, like, turn around. Oh shit, she's already up. Kind of scare.
But yeah, so.
Because Blumhouse production films always follow a pattern. If they already did a certain scare, they're going to do a different scare instead. And all scares happen 10 minutes from each other at the longest.
How curious.
That's why we had that forced jump scare of Donald Glover fucking jumping out in the beginning of the film going, "Boo, I have sushi."
But like, yeah.
I was like... Fucking come on.
But like you said, with her getting up and rising up, she they hit her with like 2 doses of it. One's like, one will fry the whatever, who gives a shit. But then Nico notices that the guard isn't at his post, because Nico knows how to hack into the security cameras, and that's kind of how they've been like, you know, watching him the whole time. Mm-hmm. So he's like, "Oh shit, where's the guard?" And the guard's coming over to the lab. So they say, you know, we'll continue shocking her and hitting her with this stuff in a little bit. Let's just duck for cover and hide. You know, so they turn all the lights off, get behind the desks. You see the guard walk by. He looks in there, doesn't see anything, walks away. And then Frank gets up first, and he like looks outside to make sure the guard's completely gone. Goes, "All right, sweet." Turns around, boom. Zoe is sitting upright on the table, just like sitting there, staring off into space.
They go over and throw the sheet off of her, and she's just like,
"Did I died?"
Well, you didn't go to Disneyland, honey.
Well, you probably should.
So they run some tests on her, and she's just sitting there saying, I dreamt I was in this place, or she's like, I was in this place and it was on fire. And Frank's just like, that was just your dream, the dream you always had.
Yeah, because he's a dick.
And she's like, I was gone for years.
Yeah, but that's later, though.
I said the same shit when I tripped on some stuff. I won't name specifically.
Would you like to disclose this information into the microphone, please?
But I said the same thing when I came down off of it. I was like, man, I've been gone for years.
That's hilarious.
So if anything, plot twist, she didn't die. She was just sleeping.
But no, yeah, before that, though, like right before that, they're examining her and checking on her, like, and she's like, shouldn't I go to a hospital? And they're like, no, we have everything we need here. But no, yeah, I guess that is kind of the first thing that happens, because everything else in between that is just her, like, getting, calmed down, getting her blanket, talking to her a little bit, like, what was it like? But you did miss one thing between that, where she initially sits on the couch and she can, like, read everyone's minds.
Yeah, she hears things before they actually occur.
So Frank is, like, sitting there and consoling her, just like, you're going to be fine, everything's fine, you just need some rest right now. And then Zoe starts repeating back to him, like, at the same time, what he's going to say and what he is saying. He's like,
just lie down for a moment.
Yeah, like, he's like, oh shit, she's like, reading my mind or something. It turns out she can, which is crazy.
Which leads to a bug later that I had, but
yeah.
I'll talk about it when it comes up. But
then, yeah, then after that, Frank is randomly doing some shit, and then Zoe walks up to him and goes, I've been, gone for years in hell. It was hell.
And after that little bit there, we start going through the spooky shit.
Yeah, so Frank gives her something to help her sleep for a little bit, because he's like, you need rest, obviously.
Yeah.
Right? So
Ava comes over, checks up on her, and then she falls into the spooky dream.
Yeah. She just gets transported into this dream, and she's like, wait, what the fuck? Where am I?
And she freaks the fuck out. She gets touched on the arm by this thing.
Well, during this dream,
sees that whole dream.
She sees Zoe as a little girl.
Yeah.
During the stream, she's like, "Who the heck is this?" And it's Zoe's a little girl holding something in her hand.
And then she goes, "What do you got there?" Back.
Yeah, puts this thing behind her back and
goes,
puts her finger to her mouth, like, be quiet.
And instantly, then I put two and two together, but
yeah, and then she gets attacked by this demon,
and she's like, ah, and then falls to the ground, and the other guys come in and they're like, "Ava, what's wrong?" And she's like, "Oh my god, I was
somewhere else," which is another thing everyone always says. Zoe said, "I was somewhere else," and Eva says, "I was somewhere else."
Just call it hell, you pussies.
Yeah, seriously. And then she also says, "How is that possible?" Which is something everyone always asks this: is how is that possible? How is that possible?
Because we're scientists, goddammit.
Yeah, everyone's reading from the same script. Which is funny when Zoe's talking back to Frank about, like, at first I was like, "Whoops, she's reading his lines," But no, that was just stupid. But yeah, and then they look at her arm, and from where that demon touched her in that weird
it's all burned.
Yeah, it's like got a huge laceration. And then Nico's like, how is that possible? Whatever.
So then they all fall back into their same motions. Frank's just like, she's fine, do some more tests.
Yeah.
Clay's just like, this is all fucked up, I want to go home.
Yeah.
And Ava and Nico are just like, hey, Roman, let's go bowling.
Yeah. And so they put her through the MRI. And this is where they notice that her brain is just like the dog's brain, like full-on brain activity. Like, instead of 10% of the brain being used at a time, she's using all of it the whole time. Like,
which
complete neural activity.
You get Lucy comparisons basically right out the gate.
Yeah, except Lucy thought that had the bullshit myth version of the brain, I think.
That we only use 10%
yeah,
period.
And like 90% of the brain is just unused.
Yeah.
Which is stupid. This movie had the decency to say that we do use our entire brain, thank
It's
God.
just 10% at a time.
Yeah, when it comes to cognitive thinking, which is like, oh, thank you for saying that movie, because fuck, people are going to get so confused.
Yeah. So, after we hear that, she starts doing some crazy stuff. Like, she looks at this pen. The pen starts flying all around. All these other things.
Yeah.
Sees her hand is like turning black. Sees the hole on her head is like kind of like rotting open.
Yeah. Basically, like, she notices that her body's completely healing after like her shock. Well, it's just random spooky psychic stuff, which we really can't explain too much in detail because they're minor things, like you said, like a mirror breaking or like lights going off. But then this is when it's just Nico now, and he's working on something. They're all just turning their backs on him, and then all of a sudden,
Zoe comes out.
Yeah, Zoe has this. She has like another. This is like minor. She has the same dream again, but this time she like rips like this cross necklace that she wears off of her neck, throws it on the ground, floats in the air, and like opens
shows
her
full on possession.
Yeah, opens her eyes, and her eyes are completely black now. And then Nico's like, "What was that?" Goes over to check on Zoe. He's like, "Where is she?" Goes in the MRI machine room, and then she sneaks up on him. And this is a creepy scene because
she's like, "Nico, make me feel good.
Make me feel normal, Nico." And she tries to like make out with him,
and he's like, "Please."
He's like, "No, you're gross."
He's like, "This isn't how I dreamt it would be."
Yeah, exactly. He's like, "Why do I not have a boner?" But
it's Olivia Wilde, goddammit.
Then she's like, she says something about how she was in hell.
She's like, "Nico, let's go bowling."
Yeah, not now, Roman. I'm possessed. Bleh. But then she mentions how, like, no matter how hard she tried in her life, she was never forgiven for this one thing she's done.
Which
is inevitably her dream that you'll find out later. But, so she's like, I still went to hell, so it doesn't matter. And he's like, what are you talking about? And she's like, oh, you'll find out.
She's like, fuck it.
Force pushes him like a Jedi into this metal cabinet, and with her mind crushes the cabinet like a soda can. Which
was kind of hardcore, but
yeah, they didn't.
I've seen more hardcore crushing with Andy crushing a dog's neck last week.
Oh, that was so hardcore. But there's basically strawberry jam pours out of the bottom of this cabinet, and it's like, well, Nico's dead. Black guy always dies first. Whatever. So then she's sleeping on the couch again, like nothing happened, and everyone else walks in and goes, where's Nico? And she's like, oh, he must be in the bathroom. And Craig goes, I was just in the bathroom. He's not there. Fuck this. Goes for the phone.
Fuck this fucking shit. And Frank's just like, no, don't call the cops.
Yeah, if you call the cops.
Like, I don't give a shit about the cops. I don't give about you. Fuck on them all. You know?
And this is when Craig says, not Craig, but Frank says to Craig, if you call the cops, they're going to take Zoe away and we'll never see her again. They're going to chop her up and examine her. And then Zoe reads his mind, and in his mind he says, that's what I would do. So now Zoe's like, oh shit, these people are probably trying to hurt me now, huh?
Yeah, so Clay comes over and is just like going, as a matter of fact, where the fuck's Nico?
Yeah,
like waving
Nico?
his Eve sig like a fag.
Yeah.
And she just looks at them all seductively but evil, and then his fucking e-cig goes straight down his throat.
Yeah, and then Zoe gives him one slow motion wink, and then Nico goes, not Nico, but Craig goes, oh god, and then fucking falls to the ground. And this is when Frank and Eva kick in action. So he's like, give me the forceps and a light.
Heart, wink, point.
Heart, wink, and point.
And he dies.
Yeah, so they try to, the doctor, Frank and Eva try to pull out the e-cigarette with some forceps, while Zoe's just watching evil, smiling evilly.
Yeah. And Eva's like looking over at her like, oh my god.
And they eventually pull it out, and he just like looks at Zoe and is like, what the fuck,
Yeah. And so now it's just Ava and Frank. Just the two of them.
Yeah.
And she's like, you gotta stop Zoe. There's something wrong with her. And Frank just goes, I know.
Actually, I can't really remember what transitions from the choking scene. Oh, no. It goes like pitch black.
And then she just spooks all over the place.
Yeah, she disappears basically.
Like the Fear video games.
Yeah, pretty much.
Psychic bendy spoons.
And that's when they go, okay, we gotta put her down, So
Frank, they go Pet Cemetery and they pull out some putting down.
Yeah, Pet Cemetery 2. I was thinking of I can't remember what movie it was. Never mind. But yeah, so then Frank goes, oh shit, we gotta find her now. She's in this lab trapped with us somehow. Because Zoe locked all the doors too, so they can't
the
get out
elevator,
now.
The stairs, the chutes and ladders, everything.
The snakes, the eels, the escalators. So they get some syringes full of this like chemical that'll hopefully put her down, full dosage, right?
Mm-hmm.
And now they're on a manhunt for Zoe, and then Frank says, "You stay here. Eva, I'm going to find her. You know, it's my fault. I'll put her down. She's my problem, my responsibility. And she goes, don't leave me, Frank. Don't leave me, Frank. Don't leave me, Frank. And he, like, runs away and goes, see you later, bitch. But he goes down the main hallway, sees Zoe standing there, and as he approaches her, he's like, I'm not going to hurt you. I'm not going to do anything.
And she reads his mind and just goes, then why do you got that syringe? And he's just like, what? No.
Yeah, pops up right next to him, and he puts it down and goes, see, I was not going to hurt you.
And then she just grabs him by the head and starts squeezing his head like a lemon.
Yeah, basically, well, before that, he's holding her hand, saying, we're going to figure this out. We can do anything.
We can build this road together.
Yeah, we can build this bridge together. Nothing lasts forever. Nothing's going to stop us now. So he's squeezing her hands, telling her it's going to be okay. And she says, do you still love me? And he goes, sure. And she's like, show me. And grabs his head and like reads his mind. And then reads the mind, the thought he had about killing her. In his head,
he's just like, you're fucked. I'm fucked.
Yeah.
I'm one dead goose.
Yeah, in his mind, she's basically reading like, you know, we got to put her down. You know, we got to kill her. You know, and she's like, you don't love me at all.
Which at that point, because of the thing earlier when she read his mind, I would have been thinking of, like, I love this broad. I love this broad. I love this broad. Yeah. You know?
If you know that he can, like, well, at the very least. She doesn't really tell them she can read their mind.
Yeah, if she even, like, started saying the same shit as me, though, I would have been like, oh, fuck.
I would have asked, at least, can you hear my thoughts?
What am I thinking of? Wink.
Ew. No, not that. No, jeez. How embarrassing. No.
I was thinking of Moby Dick.
Not big ol', you know. No, but she squeezes his head like a melon, like you said.
And I totally wanted it to go hardcore and just her explode his head.
Yeah, but...
Scanner style.
So, oh, yeah. But so he falls to the ground dead.
He falls over dead, and then she goes after Eva. Eva's just like, no, please. Oh, yeah. God.
So she loads up 2 syringes full of this deadly toxin.
And one syringe didn't work at all because we never used it. Yeah, I know what is better, 2.
Well, tucks them in her boot just in case, right? So she's walking around with a flashlight looking for Zoe. But, oh yeah, while she's suiting up to fight Zoe, for some reason, goes to the lab and injects more Lazarus serum into her head. Which I didn't really get. Maybe to make her more powerful.
What doesn't kill you makes you stronger.
Right? I'm not sure, but either way... so she's on a hunt for her. And
she's a real sperm dumpster at this point.
God damn. But for some reason, Zoe's being really spooky to her. Like, there's no reason for her to, like, try to scare her or, like, move around so mysteriously.
She could just kill her.
Yeah, because if that's what her intention is, why not do it? Which bothered me. So she's like, Eva, you know, flying around like a weird gypsy mama thing. I was like,
fuck you.
Yeah.
Finally, she decides enough is enough. Hits her so hard it knocks her into... hell again.
Yeah, it hits her so hard it knocks her into Zoe's personal hell. And this time she's like, oh, this is your dream. This is your dream. And she looks at young Zoe and goes, that's you, Zoe. And she walks over to her
and young Zoe has matches and she's like, so you started the fire. And I was like, motherfucker, I figured that out 30 minutes ago.
I didn't really, well, I mean, I didn't know what she was holding in her hand. At first, I thought she had like a key to the apartment door or something. Oh, and she didn't like let him out.
That would have been fucked up.
Yeah.
You don't know the password.
Yeah, but it's a really cool scene, honestly, because I wasn't expecting exactly that. But yeah, she's holding this matchbook full of matches, and it's like, oh shit, Zoe started that fire. That's why she feels bad about it. And that's why she has such trauma.
And that's why she went to hell.
And then Eva's like, you can fix this, just open that door, let those people out.
Because earlier they say that the DMT at the least acts as a doorway to heaven or hell.
Stupid.
So this movie gets really heavy-handed with that. And right there. You just gotta open the door, Zoe. While meanwhile, evil... Yeah. Present day Zoe.
It's a race against time because like during
is coming and she's just burning.
Yeah, the current Zoe, like all powerful Lazarus Effect-y Zoe, is like slowly walking in the hallway, Jason Voorhees style, or Michael Myers really.
And she's like, "No, please just open the door." And they open it. Blinding white light encompasses evil Zoe, and everything
shoots back out of reality. Oh, there goes reality.
Mom spaghetti.
And it shows Eva stabbing Zoe with a needle. She got her right in the chest.
And Zoe just falls down and goes, no fair.
No, she doesn't, you son of a bitch. No, but Zoe looks at Eva, and goes, I'm so sorry. And before she can finish her thought, Eva hits her with another needle right in the neck. Fucking cold cocks her.
Fuck you.
Yeah, she's like, nope, I've seen where this goes. Because let's face it, in exorcism movies, they always go, I didn't mean to, I'm sorry. But then they just, like, do evil shit afterward.
And at that point, I was kind of expecting, like, when she kills Zoe, I was expecting her to pull out, like, a deck of cards, just go sit in the corner and wait for help, just by playing cards with herself.
This is not Pet Sematary.
I know. No matter how hard I wished.
I know.
And fucking firemen show up from around the corner like, oh, thank God we found you just in time. And Ava's like, oh, thank God, yes. And then she like, hugs the fireman, leans back again. Fucking Zoe.
It's Zoe. And then Zoe breaks her neck. And then it pans across everyone and shows all the people that died in the lab. And then finally, like, last shot, it has Zoe, and she's putting Frank on the Lazarus table. And she hits him in the head with the Lazarus serum. And the very last scene is Zoe reviving Frank.
And he wakes up all violently too. So that whole Zoe not waking up violently was bullshit.
Yeah. And I don't understand that. The ending there. Why did Zoe have to actually not be dead? Why did she bring Frank back? It was such bullshit.
It's like Bride of Frankenstein. Frankenstein's monster just wanted a mate. To be undead together.
That kind of makes sense, but still.
Or like a little piece of heaven. I don't know. It's all sorts of bullshit.
Agree.
So
this is very weird. But the reason the firemen came in the first place was because actually no, there's really no reason that the firemen came.
No fucking reason.
Yeah.
I just realized too, yeah.
But Nico earlier realized that the reason that they knew about the experiment was because someone from the pharmaceutical company
had set up a dummy account.
Yeah, they hacked into the school's camera feed. So pretty much they were watching them do it.
Evil corporation bastards, yes. Hackers, I don't believe it.
But because of that, they noticed that they broke into the lab and they were coming to go get them eventually.
So why they didn't show up and the firemen did, I just don't know.
I mean, that's a weird thing. It was like
it's not like they even lit anything on fire.
Yeah, and they had plenty of time to get there. Because they said, when was it last updated? 20 minutes ago. And this was like... And they spent hours in there fighting Zoe.
Yeah.
So I don't get that. Pretty pointless.
So yes.
Yeah, fireman was just used as an illusion to trick her into thinking she was safe so she could break her neck.
Which is another thing that a lot of horror movies are doing nowadays. It's like, oh, happy ending. Nope, bad ending.
Yeah.
Just commit to one or the other, for fuck's sakes.
Yeah, but...
Or if you're gonna pull a switcheroo, don't pull the switcheroo.
Yeah, but...
Unless you really think it's gonna work.
I gotta give this movie some praise, though, because I thought this movie was gonna be like... she dies, and what comes back is not her at all, just a demon. And like the whole rest of the movie, they just fight a demon. But no, it was Zoe the whole time. It could have easily just been like, hey there, sexy, like, oh god, it's a demon, whatever.
Yeah. I still don't know what the fuck all that was supposed to be about. Because if it was hell, then it would kind of mean she was possessed. But she wasn't really possessed by anything recognizable as a demon or a ghost or anything.
That's because she wasn't possessed.
It's just confusing why they would throw hell in there then if they're not going to go with the possession kind of route.
Well, I don't know. It's like she
they couldn't commit to fully scientific or fully religious.
I suppose that's the conundrum in the movie, too.
It's all up in the air.
Yeah, exactly. I don't know. That's kind of your thoughts on it. I'm glad I watched it. It's not a long movie.
I think they tried to just please both sides. Like, it's kind of religious.
I saw it twice in a row, and I enjoyed it twice the whole time.
Did it get better or did it get worse?
It got better the second time around, which is weird. This is a very short movie. It feels very short. It's sweet. It's short and sweet.
And to the point.
Except for the end.
And that point is science and religion go hand in hand.
I hate the ending. So... Derek, what is your favorite scene and least favorite scene in The Lazarus Effect?
My least favorite scene, I guess, would be the one where Donald Glover pops in on Zoe and just spooks her for no stupid reason. Because the only reason she looked the other way was because her record stopped playing.
Yeah.
And if this wasn't a horror movie, she wouldn't have turned around to look at why it stopped. That was totally forced, that whole thing, just to give us exposition like, oh, Frank's just not paying enough attention to our relationship. It was just filler bullshit, because we could have gotten the same thing from just having him look at her burnt finger. Just be like, my God, my work killed my love.
Yeah, which is, a lot of the subtlety in this was great. So they didn't need that scene, which is why we didn't talk about it.
It's completely superfluous.
Yeah, just blazed over. What about favorite scene, though?
Favorite scene? I guess it would have to be when she crushes Frank's head.
Oh, really?
Even though it ultimately kind of disappointed me, I still like that she kind of cracked his head. You got a nosebleed. His eyes started going all funky.
Yeah. Foaming at the mouth.
You could hear all sorts of stuff going on in his head.
She was like cooking his brain with her powers.
I was just like, oh yeah, you pussy.
What the hell? I don't even...
And then when he fell down and died, it just kind of looked like he fell forward, kind of like lovingly into her crotch.
Which is it was kind of sad.
Yeah.
Like how he slow-mo fell down. It's like, oh my God, she killed what she loved the most, I'm sure. But my least favorite, actually, I'll tell you my favorite scene is when Zoe is first come to and she's sitting down and she begins to talk back to what people are saying and like read people's minds. I don't know. I felt like that was really cool. It was like watching a superhero get their superpowers. You know? It was just really interesting. And like watching the characters' reactions was pretty cool. Because a man of science just like, how the fuck did she know what I was going to say? Just taken aback by that. It was really cool to me. I like that science fiction-y stuff, you know.
Mm-hmm.
But my least favorite scene was the scene where they're explaining the burst of DMT that the brain gives off before you die.
Blah, 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 DMT.
Yeah, it honestly...
Blah, 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 DMT.
It was like, am I watching, like, you know, fun facts on, like, freaking YouTube or some shit? Because it just was so loosely described that I got taken aback from the world. That I was immersed for a while, but that just kicked me out of it. Because they didn't need to mention DMT. Why did they have to mention... I mean, that it is true. Your brain does give off a lot of DMT right before you die.
Yeah.
But the fact that they talked about it and the way they did was I don't know.
It was like, get out of BuzzFeed, please.
Yeah, it was like, what do you mean? This is not 8th grade science class. Talk about it on a
Weird
higher level.
science.
At the very least, on a higher intellectual level. The way they talked about it was just like, yeah, when you die, you just get shot with DMT and you just become DMT.
You don't go to heaven, you just have a psychic trip.
Yeah. And just because it's an acronym for what they're describing does not make it sound more scientific.
Yeah.
What if they said like LSD? Or like DVD? Your brain gets shot with DVD.
I tried pot once, then I died.
the Lazapot effect. I don't know. The Lazabong effect. So anyway, but yeah, that was my opinion on that. But Derek, I'm excited to hear what you think. What is, out of 10 spooks, what do you give this movie?
5.
5 out of 10 spooks?
Yes.
Wowie zowie. Really?
Yeah.
Dang.
I thought it was just okay.
That's crazy. I was thoroughly entertained by this movie.
Because like I saw certain stuff coming, and like I said, some of it was just heavy-handed to me.
Yeah.
Like the whole doorway. You gotta open the door. Well,
yeah, it's like Poltergeist.
but please, the hand,
but a little more
doorknob's
bearable.
gonna be really hot.
Yeah.
I'm gonna be fine in heaven, but I'm gonna have a burned hand.
Well, I give this movie a 6 out of 10 spooks.
Whoa. It's as good as Death Dream, huh? Because that's what you gave Death Dream.
Well, that's the thing. Both of these movies were fairly short, and they had nothing really as far as depth. It was just kind of one story point, and they drove it home. This, Death Dream's story point was that Andy was fucked up, and he kills people, they put down Andy. And that's the exact same storyline in this. She's fucked up, she fucks up people, they fuck her up.
No fucking fair.
Actually, she doesn't get fucked up at all, which is kind of weird. But, I don't know, I was still, I say give it a watch. Rent it, man. This movie's entertaining.
It's a solid rental.
Yeah. If this movie was 2 hours long, for what it was, I would be like, no way.
2 hours long with that, it would be a 4.
Yeah. I want to give this a 7, but like you said, a little heavy-handed with the religious versus
and also
science
predictable
stuff.
jump scares.
Oh yeah, it's like It's weird.
Inconsistencies too, and even on like the security cameras. At one point, I pointed out.
Oh yeah.
Like it went from 239 to 224.
Exactly.
I was just like, come on, man.
But if you look at it as a horror movie, I give it a 6 out of 10. If I look at this as just sci-fi, I would give it like a 7. Maybe an 8. Just because it's interesting. It's got interesting themes.
But this ain't your sci-fi, champ.
No way. Also, the girls in this movie are really pretty.
Yes,
they got
they
like
are.
the most attractive actors ever. And
Olivia
that Donald
Wilde,
Glover... Donald Glover, too. Oh, they kissed, too. That was cool.
That was cool. Cool for him.
Cool for... Yeah, I was like, go Donald. Go Danny. Go Danny Glover. I'm too old for this shit.
You're never too old for wild. Come on.
Anyway.
Born to be wild.
But hey, that concludes the Lazarus Effect. Join us next week where we're going to review Reanimator. Suggested by Scott Stark and possibly guest starring Scott Stark, actually. He's the winner of the contest, as we mentioned earlier.
So he deserves some kind of goodies.
Yeah, so that'll be interesting to have him on here. We'll see how that goes.
It'll either be the worst of times or the best of times.
Yes, we'll try to keep it under an hour, unlike our last guest star. That thing was very long. So join us next week where we are going to have a special episode first in the beginning of the month with Scott Stark, and then the rest of the month we'll kick off Found Footage Month, starting with the new Paranormal Activity movie.
Like us on Facebook,
Twitter, Patreon, no.
Oh, God.
So stay tuned for another episode.
We'd be so hip and trendy if we got a Patreon. Maybe we could actually give fans shirts other than adult male hoodies. Join us next week, whether you like it or not.
Oh my gosh. Just said it like that.